to our home exercises video. Some of you may know me. I'm one of the exercise physiologists with the cardiac rehab team at UHNM. And in today's video I'm going to be demonstrating some exercises that you can do at home. So obviously, given the current situation and the self-isolation and social distancing rules, it means that we're not going to be getting out and getting as active as we may normally do. But it's really important, especially if you've suffered with any cardiovascular problems, to keep as active as possible. So we're going to demonstrate some exercises that you can do at home. And for the purposes of today's video, I'm sat in my kitchen and I'm going to demonstrate how easy it is to do some activity at home. So all you really need is a sturdy dining chair. If you want to add any extra resistance to any of the exercises, you can add some small weights. If you've got some dumbbells, you could use some tins of beans, you could use a bottle of water or a resistance band if you've got them. But don't worry if you haven't got them, you can complete all of the exercises without any of the equipment. So before you start exercising, it's really important to bear in mind some safety rules. So if you're feeling at all unwell, that includes chest pain, shortness of breath, dizziness, palpitations, don't exercise. If you're noticing any changes in your symptoms, then please get back in touch with your cardiac rehab team, your doctors, your nurses, your GPs. I know it's a difficult time, but if you're having any changes in symptoms, then make sure you're keeping on top of those. So also, it's really important when we're exercising to keep the room well ventilated, so make sure you've got a window open. Keep yourself hydrated, so make sure you've got a bottle of water alongside you. Don't exercise through any discomfort, so definitely don't exercise through any chest pain. If you're noticing any of that, sit yourself down and follow the GTN guidelines. Don't exercise through any shortness of breath. Obviously, it's normal when we are exercising to get a little bit out of breath. And if you're exercising to a point where you could still hold a conversation, that's fine. If you're getting so breathless so that you couldn't return a conversation, you couldn't answer in full sentences, then come to a stop. Slow yourself down, sit yourself down, keep your feet tapping until your breathing comes back to normal. We also want to make sure that the space you're exercising in is free of clutter. So as I'm in my kitchen, I've had to do a little bit of manoeuvring. I've had to shift the table out of the way and move a few things around. So please make sure if you're exercising at home that there's nothing there that you could possibly trip up over. Make sure the space is nice and safe. So it's also really important, apart from all of the things that I've mentioned, to make sure that you warm up and you cool down. And in all of our exercise videos, we'll demonstrate how you can do that. So for the purposes of today's video, we're going to do a seated circuit and we're going to work on 1 minute for each exercise. So we're going to do a selection of exercises and you can take them as hard or as easy as you like. If you want to make them a little bit harder, you can add some resistance in, or you can up the intensity by going a little bit faster. But equally, if they're enough for you, that's absolutely fine. You can keep the exercises to your own personal level. So we're going to do each exercise for 1 minute. And then we're going to have a rest for 30 seconds. Now, we're going to do 10 exercises for today, so we're going to be exercising for 10 minutes. But if that's a little bit easy for you, then when we get to the end, before I go on to the cool down, by all means, rewind the video back and repeat that circuit again. So then you can do 2 sets, which would be 20 minutes. You don't need to re-warm up, but make sure that you still do the cool down at the very end of your circuit. Okay, so we're going to get started then with a warm-up. So it's really important to warm up to get your body ready for some exercise, to get your heart rate up a little bit, to get you a bit warmer, and to increase that coronary blood flow. Okay, so we're going to start then. We're going to start with some toe taps, and I'm going to time a minute on each of these, but we're not going to have a rest in between the warm-up exercises. We're going to continue doing those exercises. Okay, so we're going to start just by tapping the toes. So just forwards and backwards, nice and simple, taking the toes as far forwards as you're comfortable with. If it's a bit too difficult to take them too far, just bring the toes back in a little bit. Then at all times when you're completing the exercises, make sure your back's rested nice against the chair. Okay, so we're going to keep those toes tapping. Okay, so we're done just 30 seconds. We're going to keep going. If at any point during any of these exercises you feel like you need to stop and have a rest, slow yourself down, sit down and bring the toes back to this toe tapping march. Okay, so we're almost there. And now we're going to go into some knee raises. Okay, so we're just going to lift the knees up and back down. So again, just lifting them to wherever's comfortable. You haven't got to go too high, just up and down. And try and alternate the knees if possible. And we're going to keep that going for the same length of time. Again, if you want to make it a little bit harder, if it's a bit too easy, you can lift the knees up higher. But equally, if you suffer with any joint problems and you want to just take the knees a bit lower, that's absolutely fine. The main thing is that we're keeping moving. We're just building that body up ready for some exercise. Okay, we're almost there. So for the next exercise, we're going to take it into a side tap. So we're going to bring the feet back down and we're going to take the foot out and back in. So out and back in, alternating the feet each time. Just tap to wherever's comfortable. Again, if you suffer with any knee problems, don't take the foot out too far. So we're going to go out and in, and keeping that movement going. And as the warm-up goes on, we're just going to gradually increase the speed and the intensity a little bit. But like I say, take it all at your own pace. So we're going to keep those feet tapping, out and in. And it doesn't matter if your coordination's not so great and you get a little bit mixed up. The main thing is that you're moving your feet. So we'll do a little bit longer on this one. And for the next exercise, we're going to do similar to the knee raises, but we're going to take it into a seated march. So we're just lifting the feet up and down. We're not taking them quite as high as the knee raises, a little bit lower with the feet, but we're going a little bit quicker with the speed. And if you want to at any point keep hold of the chair for a bit of support, that's absolutely fine. So we're going to keep that march going. Again, if you want to make it a little bit harder, obviously we're still warming up, so we don't want to be too out of breath just yet, but you can take the feet a bit faster if you wish to. Okay, we're going to keep going with this for a little while. And with the next exercise, we're going to take it into an ankle roll. Now again, if you suffer with limited mobility, don't worry, just do what you can. So we're going to start with the right ankle and we're going to roll it, keep rolling it one way. We'll do 30 seconds on this foot and then we'll do 30 seconds on the other foot. Okay. So if you do a few one way, and then in a moment we'll change and go the other way. You're never going to be able to rotate your ankle all the way around, but just do what you can. Okay, so we're just loosening up the joints now. Okay, then we're going to take it the other way now. You'll find it's easier to rotate it one way than the other, but again, as long as you're moving that ankle, it doesn't really matter. Okay, then we're going to switch feet, and we're going to do the same with the left foot. So rotating it nice and gently one way, and then in a moment we'll rotate it the other way. Okay. I find that one a little bit harder. Okay, so for the next exercise, then we're going to get the arms moving as well. So we want to start with a march with the legs. So we're not going too high, and then at the same time, we're going to bring in the arms now. And we're going to do some bicep curls. So again, it doesn't matter if you struggle to coordinate this, as long as we're moving the arms and the legs, it doesn't matter what way we're moving them. So we're going to stick with the bicep curls for the moment, and then we'll change it. Keep that movement going. It's going to work on your coordination a little bit as well. And throughout the rest of the arm exercises in the warm-up, we're going to try and keep the legs moving if we can do. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to keep the legs moving. But we're going to take the arms out into a side raise. So we're just raising them to level with the shoulders and back down again. Again, not too fast. We don't need to hold them up there for too long. We're just going to take them up and back down. Just nice and steady. Make sure you're breathing throughout all of the exercises. Don't hold your breath at all. So we're going to keep that movement going. And then in a moment we'll change the arms again. Okay, almost there with this one. Now next time we're going to move the arms into a chest press. So again, trying to keep the legs going, and we're going to take the hands from the shoulders and push them forwards. So forwards and backwards. If you lose coordination at any point, by all means take the legs out of the equation and just move the arms. We've just got a couple more to do after this, and then the warm-up's complete. So we're not using any weights for the warm-up, and it will be the same for the cool-down. We'll add the weights in throughout the workout. Okay, the next one, we're going to take the arms into a front raise. So same as the side raise that we've just done, but we're raising the arms up to the front now. Okay. So we're keeping the legs going at all times, and we're going to raise the arms up and back down. You should start to feel a little bit warmer by now. So up and down, just level with the shoulders and back down again. Okay, we're going to keep that going, almost there. And the last exercise after this one, we're going to take it into some shoulder rolls. Okay, so the final exercise, we're going to keep the legs moving again if we can do, and we're going to take the shoulders backwards. So we're going to do a few rolls backwards, and then we're going to go forwards. Okay, and then same again, we're going to go backwards. Okay, and then forwards. So we're doing 5 on each. And backwards. If it's a little bit difficult for you to do a shoulder roll, then by all means just do a shoulder shrug. So we're just taking the arms up and down. It's a little bit difficult to coordinate a shoulder roll with March, but we'll do what we can. Okay, so we're almost there, we're almost at the end of the warm-up now. Like I say, you should be feeling a little bit warmer, your heart rate should be a little bit higher. Okay, in the last few seconds, and then we're all done. Okay, so we're going to move on to the cardiovascular part of our workout now, and like I say, we're going to do a minute on each exercise. We're going to do a minute with a 30-second rest. Take it as hard or as easy as you can do, and try and build up over the next few days and weeks. Okay, so we're going to start then with a sit to stand exercise. So for this one, we need the dining chair, and we need to make sure that it's nice and sturdy and it's not going to wobble anywhere. Okay, so we're going to start the exercise in just a few seconds. If you follow me. Okay, so we're going to stand up and sit down. So keeping your feet hip distance apart. Now, as you stand up, if you find it a bit of a struggle, you can push up off your knees. But if you can do, to work the legs a little bit harder, we're going to pop the hands across the chest. So we're just going to go up and down, just nice and steady. Like I say, take this at your own pace. If you suffer with any knee problems, then just go a little bit slower. Now make sure when you're sitting back down, that you're sitting back down nice and steadily, that you're not wobbling. And always keep your heels pushed into the floor. So we're not lifting the heels up with this exercise, we're pushing all of our weight through the legs and through the heels. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, now we're going to have a rest. Now for the rest period, for each 30 seconds we have as a rest, we're going to keep the legs moving. So it doesn't matter how you move them, if you want to march, if you want to tap, it doesn't matter. As long as we're keeping those legs moving, we're keeping that blood going. Now for the next exercise, I'm going to pick up my tins and we're going to do some bicep curls. Again, if you're able to, try and keep the legs moving whilst we're doing the weighted exercises. Okay, so we're going to start by bringing the arms up and down. Now as you do a bicep curl, keep your elbows tucked into your side. So the arms aren't out here, we're keeping them tucked in to the side. And as you're bringing the arm down, we're stopping when it's level with the body. We're not swinging the arm backwards, we're just keeping it nice and tight into the body. And as you bring the arm up, just try and see if you can tap the weight or your hand just up to your shoulder. If you don't want to use any weights for these, then that's absolutely fine. You can do it without the weights just as easily. Okay, so we've just got a few more left with this one. Five more seconds. Okay, so we've got another 30-second rest now, and we're just going to keep those toes tapping, keep the feet moving. Now for the next exercise, we're going to do some high knees. So we can do these seated, but equally we can do them standing. So I'll demonstrate both to you. But we're just going to keep the feet moving, keep the heels tapping or the toes tapping, just to keep that circulation going once we're having a rest. Okay. So we're going to go into the knee raises now then, and we're going to start with the right leg, and we're going to lift the knee as high as you can this time. So we're alternating the legs each time. So we're going up and down and up and down. Now like I say, you can do this seated, but equally you can do it standing. So if you struggle with hip problems, sometimes this is a little bit difficult to do as you sat down. So if you're going to do it standing, we need you to hold on to something that's not going to move. So we can do it holding onto the chair. So just raising the knees to wherever's comfortable and placing them back down again. Always make sure that you're nice and balanced on a move like this. So if we keep that exercise going, see if we can get the chair in the right place again. And we're almost there, so we've got 10 seconds left of this exercise. 5 more seconds. Okay, so we're going to take it back to that tap. So I'll go for a tap now because I've done a few knee raises. So we're just going to keep the feet tapping and moving for 30 seconds. Keeping those feet moving and keeping that circulation going. Now the next exercise we're going to do is the side raise. So we did this in the warm-up, but now we're going to add some weights in if we can do. So I'm going to grab my tins, and we're going to start with the arms by the sides. Okay, and we're going to take them up and back down. So exactly the same as the warm-up move, but right now we're adding a little bit extra resistance in with some weights. So again, just taking the arms level with the shoulder height and back down again. If you suffer with any shoulder problems or it's difficult to take the arms up to the shoulder height, then just move them in a small movement further down. All of these exercises are adaptable, so if you're struggling with any of them, there's always alternatives. So we're going to keep those arms moving, and then we'll have a 30-second rest again. Okay, we're almost there. So we'll rest those weights back down again now. We're just going to keep those feet moving, keep them tapping, keep them marching. Keep wiggling those toes. Give the ankles a roll if you want to. And we're just using this time to catch the breath again. So again, the next exercise we go into, it's going to be the side taps. So same as your knee raises, we can do it seated, and we can also do it standing if you wish to. So, a few more seconds on the cool down. Okay, so we're going to take the feet out to the side now then. And we're just going to tap to wherever's comfortable. Now if you want to make this a little bit harder, you can increase the speed at which you're doing your taps. Okay? Take it to whatever pace you like. And again, if you want to make it harder still, or you feel comfortable to, we can do this as a standing exercise as well. So make sure you've got that sturdy chair or something to hold on to, and we'll just take it out to the side. Exactly the same as if you were sitting down. Move that chair back again. So we're keeping those feet moving at all times. So we're going out and in. We're almost there. So another 30 seconds rest coming up. Okay, so we're having that rest period again. And use your rest periods for a sip of water. Make sure you stay hydrated. So just keeping those feet tapping, keeping them moving. Now the next exercise we're going to do chest press. So for this exercise you can use a variety of things. You could use some weights in the form of tins or dumbbells or bottles of water, or we can also use a resistance band as well. So for the weights then, again try and keep those feet moving if you can. We're going to bring them up to your shoulders and we're going to push forwards. So we're going to push forwards and bring the weights back. Try and keep your arms up at all times. So taking those weights out and in. Now if you've got a resistance band, you could use one of these as well. So we're going to take it behind, and we're going to put it behind the chair, if I can get it behind there. And we're going to do the same, we're going to push forwards and bring it back. Forwards and back. Let's hope this doesn't twang on me. Okay, now if you want to make it harder with a resistance band, the further back you take your hands, the more resistance it's going to induce. Okay, so we're pushing forwards and bringing it back. Like I say, it doesn't matter if you use a resistance band, some tins, some dumbbells, or nothing at all. We're just getting those arms moving, and I've forgotten about the legs now. Okay, so we're back into the rest period now, so we're going to drop that back down. And things like the resistance bands, you can get those easily from Amazon, and don't need them to be too strong. And things like your tins, you can use tins of beans, tins of soup, bottles of water, and you can fill the bottle of water with as much fluid as you want to make it as hard or as light as you like. Okay, so we've got 5 more seconds. Okay, and then we're going to go into our next exercise. Now we're going to take this into a march. So as I've demonstrated, we can do a march seated. Well, we did do that in the warm-up, so if you can do, we're going to take it into a march standing now. And again, it's ideal if you've got something that you can hold on to whilst we're doing this march. So we're not lifting the knees as high as we did when we did the knee raise. We're just taking them nice and low, but we're trying to increase the pace a little bit with this march. Always make sure you're holding on to something that's sturdy so you're not going to roll over. And take a rest at any point. So we're going to keep that march going. Choosing a pace that suits you. Okay, we've got 5 more seconds. I'm just going to move this chair back. So keep marching, and we're into the rest again now. So again, just tap those heels forwards and backwards. I'm sure I keep moving this chair in the wrong position. So we're just going to keep tapping the heels, just keeping that circulation going. If you need to take a rest at any point during the exercises, that's fine, but try and keep the feet moving if you can do. We want to prevent you from feeling faint or dizzy. Okay, so the next one now, we're going to go into an upright row. So again, if you've got some tins, you can use your tins for this. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the arms out straight, and we're going to lift them up and take them back down. So this is your upright row. Now when you do this, make sure you're taking your elbows up at the same time. So we don't want this, we want the elbows out to the side, raising them up and down. You can use one tin in both hands or you can use a tin in each hand. Now if you've got a resistance band, you can also do an upright row with one of these. So we're going to lay it over the top of the feet and we're going to pull it through the middle and then we're going to raise it up and down. So you tie your feet in a little knot, and I've probably just gone over the minute there, so we're going to rest there. Okay, and we're going to keep those feet marching, and now I'm pretty sure I've lost track of where I am with the time, but we're going to keep the feet moving for a few more seconds for a little bit of a rest. I've either gone way over or way under the minute there. Okay, so for the next exercise then, we're going to do a shuttle walk. Now in my kitchen, I'm just going to walk from left to right. If you've got a hallway or a longer room, choose whatever suits you. Okay, so we're going to start and we're just going to walk to your own pace. So pick whichever pace suits you. If you want to go a little bit faster, by all means go a little bit faster. Like I say, my kitchen isn't the biggest, so I can't walk too far, but that doesn't matter. We're working with what we've got. So we're just going to go forwards and backwards. And if you start to get dizzy at any point or you're losing your balance, then slow yourself down. And make sure you turn it different way each time. So we're going to keep that walk going. If you want to bring the arms in and have a bit of a swing and make it a bit harder, we can do. I'm probably making you all go really dizzy now, just walking backwards and forwards on the camera. It was either walking this way or walking towards the camera and getting a real close-up of my face, so I went with this option. Okay, so that's the end of the minute there. We're going to take it back to the chair then, and we're just going to take it back to that march. March, the toe tap, the heel tap, whatever works for you. 30 seconds rest, and then we're going to move into our final exercise. Now if you're anything like me, you'll be feeling it a little bit now. So we're going to do one more exercise and we're going to do some side bends. Okay. So again, we're going to grab our tins and we're going to hold them beside you. Okay, so this is your starting point and we're going to bend down and back up. Now as you bend down, bring your other arm up to your side. So we're bending at the elbow. And you just take this as far as is comfortable for you. So if you can't bend all the way down, that's absolutely fine. Just go to wherever's comfortable. If you can go a bit further, take it a bit further. So this is a really good one for your sides. Okay, so we're going to bend down and up. And try and keep your back nice and upright on this one. Down and up. We're almost at the end now. So again, if you want to repeat all of these exercises, now's your time to take the video back to the beginning of the circuit. You don't need to warm up again. You can start straight away on the sit to stands. But for those of you that have had enough and just wanted a short 10 minutes, that's fine. We're going to take it into a cool down now. Okay, so we're going to keep those feet moving now. We're going to put the weights back down. We don't need those again. Make sure you're nice and comfortable in your chair. So we're going to do a minute of heel taps now. So we're just tapping the heels to wherever's comfortable. Forwards and backwards, nice and simple. And now we just want to slow the intensity down. So when we're starting, we start off with a warm-up, we try and increase the intensity. Now we want to bring that back down. It's really important to have a good cool down after you've exercised, particularly when you're taking certain cardiac medications that slow the heart rate down, that lower the blood pressure. If we have an abrupt cessation of exercise, you can feel a little bit dizzy, a little bit lightheaded, which is not what we want. Okay, so let's take that into a side tap now then. Again, just to wherever's comfortable. Apologies if I've gone over the minute there, I wasn't really paying attention to the time on that one. Okay, so we're just going to take these out to the side now. And we're basically repeating the same exercises as we started with in the warm-up. Okay, so taking the feet out and in just to wherever's comfortable. going to keep that moving if we can do. And this should start to feel a little bit easier now. And if it doesn't, if it still feels difficult, just start to slow the pace even more. Okay, we'll keep that going just for a little bit longer. Almost there on this one. And we're just going to take it into a knee raise now. Okay, so we're just going to bring the knees up and back down. Again, just going to wherever's comfortable. If it's hurting your hips, go a little bit lower and take it more into a march rather than a knee raise. We'll come on to that one in just a moment. So bringing the knees up and down. Alternating the legs each time and making sure that you're planting the foot flat on the floor. Keep going if we can do. Just nice and steady now. For warming up and cooling down, you could also do some shuttle walks, gradually increasing the intensity for your warm-up, or gradually decreasing the intensity for your cool-down. You don't have to do a seated warm-up or cool-down. It depends what works for you and what space you have available. Okay, we're almost there with these ones. We're going to take it just back into that march now. So again, trying to keep your back flat against the chair, just nice and relaxed. So we're not really lifting the feet very high off the floor now. We're just raising them up and down slightly. And again, you can take this to your own pace, but we don't want to be going too fast for a cool down. We want it to feel nice and light. So we're going to keep that march going, and then in a moment we're going to start rotating the arms. We're going to go into those shoulder rolls. Okay, so we're going to just keep that going for a few more seconds. So we're almost there with this one. So we can start to slow the feet down a little bit now, and we're going to take it into some shoulder rolls. So again, we'll just do a few forwards and then a few backwards. 30 seconds forwards, 30 seconds backwards, whatever works for you. Okay, so we're going to go forwards now. So we're just loosening off all of the joints now that you've just worked. Okay, and we'll go backwards again. And then let's go forwards for the last time. And we're going to go into some side raises. So we've done these a couple of times now, so you should know what these are, but we're not using any weights now. So we're just going to gradually raise the arms and back down. No higher than shoulder height. We're going a little bit slower on these now. We want to start to bring that intensity down. Just take it nice and steady and make sure you breathe through every move. Never hold your breath when you're doing any of the exercises. So taking them up and down, just nice and easy. And your breathing should start to come back down to normal now. Okay, we're almost there with these ones. And after this, we're going to go into a bicep curl. So again, we've done these a couple of times, but we're not using any weights this time. Okay, so we're just going to bring the arms up and back down. Keeping your back nice and upright, chest nice and upright, and just aiming to touch the shoulders with the hands if you can. Don't worry if you can't. Nice and easy with the arms. We're just gradually slowing the pace down a little bit now. Just a couple more moves left, and then we're all done. the arms moving a little bit if we can. And after this one, we're going to go into the chest press, which again we've done a couple of times, but this time we're doing minus the weights. Okay, so we're almost there. And for the chest press, we're going to start with the hands level with the shoulders now. Okay, again, feet flat on the floor. We're just going to push the hands forwards and bring them back. So nice and steady. Try not to lock the arms out. Keep a slight bend in the arms if you can do. Take them forwards and backwards. We've got one more move after this, and then we're all done. You can go off and enjoy the rest of your day. So we're keeping those arms moving. Breathing nice and steadily. And for the last exercise, we're going to go back into the ankle rolls. So we'll do 30 seconds on one leg and 30 seconds on the other leg. Okay, so the last couple on the chest press. And then take the ankles down to the side. So final one then. Let's start with your right leg. And we're going to do 30 seconds of ankle rolls. And again, do a few one way, maybe 5 one way, and then when you're ready, rotate it the other way. Just loosening off all the joints and bringing the heart rate back down to resting now. Back that way. A few more seconds, and then we'll change legs. Okay, so same again, rotate it one way, maybe do 5, and then rotate it the other way. Back that way. And we'll go back the other way, and we're almost done. Okay, so we're all done then, guys. So make sure if you've done all of the exercises seated, when you finish the exercises, just take your time standing up out of the chair. And if you can do, we want to try and repeat those exercises at least a few times a week. Ideally, 5 times a week, but we're going to be posting some more videos with different variations of the exercises. So hopefully you found it enjoyable and hopefully it can help keep you active during these difficult times. Thanks, guys.